you stand for the pledge? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We need a motion to approve minutes from January 28th, 2014.
So moved.
I can second it. I can't vote on it.
Oh, second, Jim.
Okay. Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rivera was absent.
Abstain.
And then Commissioner
Aye.
Sweetie.
Okay, Commissioner's Office is requesting board approve and execute resolution 14-017 for financials for the February 4th. Okay. Morning, how are you?
The financials today include the supplemental appropriations to distribute the carryover balance in the general fund and for the 2014 funding for the heroin initiative in the amount of $441,320.24. Cash transfers out of the general fund for 2014 funding for the tax map for the auditors and engineers office, as well as stormwater funding for the engineers office. Payment to Geauga County Agricultural Society for the distribution of 2013 gas well revenue proceeds in the amount of $4,194.40. Payment to Geauga County Airport Authority for the reimbursement number 3 of the pass-through grant funding for improved airport drainage project in the amount of $8,860.64. Payment to Logos Communication for the annual Cisco SmartNet maintenance contract in the amount of $83,640.38. That's for the ADP department. And payment to Portage Geauga Juvenile Detention Center for the first quarter 2014 in the amount of $113,170.
Heidi, on this one here, just for Blake's point on this with the heroin initiative, can you just explain that? Because I know he wasn't here for that part of it, just so you could understand that.
The breakdown of who that's for?
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah, there's about $34,000 for the juvenile courts flip program. We had funded $109,000 of that earlier this year.
Right.
And that's an additional $34,000 that they requested. Municipal court is $19,859.24 for the part-time pretrial release officer. That was their request last year. The prosecutor's office had requested $161,060. That's for a full-time felony drug prosecutor and a part-time criminal investigator. And the sheriff is a continuation of the 3 deputy investigators, and that's about $226,000. But they had hired those last year, the 3 deputies.
So the way we had done that was it kind of came in at the tail end, you know, of the year. What month was that?
That was like late
Yeah.
August or so.
Yeah, it was
maybe
late, so you
4
didn't get
months
the
worth of
whole-
expenditure.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're kind of getting, just so that you have an understanding, so that kind of carried over now into 14.
Right, they didn't have these amounts in their tax budget because at the time that they were requesting it, we didn't have that initiative.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've spoken with, I know you, David,
Yeah.
and I know the sheriff, I asked him and some of the other stakeholders here, when you start up, in my mind, when you start up a program like this, obviously you're at zero, you started it up. If in August we're approaching 6 months, and I wonder if it would be appropriate for us to have an update from the people.
Oh, from the departments?
From the departments on where they stand, what they've done, understanding that they have a day job and they have to fulfill their obligation to what
Kinda
they
give
do
us an
normally,
update on
and
how
this is on top of that.
it's going. Good.
But it would be helpful for me, from a personal standpoint, if I knew, you know, where they're. I'm in favor of this. I think everybody knows that. But where are we on it at this point?
Maybe the evening meeting on the 27th would be.
Of course, you know, we only had like 3 or 4 months into it. We
Right.
really don't have, in my opinion, if we had a whole year, we could say,
Well,
okay. But they could at least tell us what they're doing.
Yeah,
Is that
I
right?
would
Excuse me.
hope by this time they have some idea of their programs that they want
Yeah.
to initiate.
Sure.
I doubt seriously they have much in the way of results from individual cases or things like that. They may, I don't know. And it's a lot of money.
Well, that would be a good thing for the
Well, it'd be helpful to
Thursday
get an
meeting.
interim, just because, you know, in March, we'll be sending out our tax budget letters for people to start getting ready for 15. And they're gonna be putting requests in there for what they want, so it'd be good if we've gotten some kind of interim report before they start putting numbers in their budget
Yeah.
requests.
And also too, that might be another thing too, where you might wanna consider even at the budget hearing, just as far as, you know, just to
Yeah.
kinda have just a basic report of, you know, success report
Well,
as
at that
far
point,
as.
it'll be a year out, because
Yeah,
we'll be doing
right.
those in September and
Yeah,
October.
You know,
and that's when you're gonna
And
see
it'll
some.
give us a fair gauge to say, you know, but I just wanna make sure, because I know you came in at the tail end of this, and just, these are starting to appear, just so that you're not, you know,
Yeah,
questioning or wondering, why are we doing this? And
I
then just
understand
make
this
sure that
part,
we're
it's
good.
just, you know, at some point in time, for lack of a better description, you gotta draw a line in the sand and
Yeah.
start there. And well, when you voted on it initially, the line in the sand was 0 across the board, because it just started. 6 months into the program, there's been some activity, and we can
Yeah, gauge it.
see where it is, and then in a year out, you know, the next 6 months, we'll be able to have a little better idea. Then you probably have to go almost on an annual basis to see what programs are working,
Right.
or what programs are,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
need to be adjusted or modified or
Right.
tweaked.
I think each individual department had ideas as far as what they would like that measurement to be.
Mhm.
You know, I know the sheriff had discussed his level.
Even by surveillance equipment,
Uh,
which would be good to know.
Yeah, I don't think, I can't speak for you two, I certainly have no preconceived idea of what they need and how they plan on addressing it. And obviously, if there's some issue that deals with confidentiality, we don't have to expect that to, you know,
Okay.
jeopardize
Right.
anything. Thank you.
Yeah, so if we could get a motion on the financials.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Right. Motion approved. Thanks, Heidi. Mental Health and Recovery Services requesting the board acknowledge receipt of the Geauga County Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services certificate of estimated property tax revenue in regards to the renewal of an existing .70 mil mental health program levy. Mr. Adams, how are you?
Hello. I presume we have paperwork today?
do.
Good deal. What a deal.
Yeah.
None too soon.
And he did good, he's staying within his levy.
Yes, it's a renewal. It's no new taxes. We're about, interestingly enough, we do, you know, talking about drug and alcohol stuff. I just got the 2013, our financials for our reporting out on expenses for 2013 for the drug and alcohol side, and we were down $300,000 in services from 2012. We've lost about 40% of our state and federal funding over the last 3 years for those, so it really has made a huge difference. So doing the renewal is a tough stretch, but I think, you know, it's the right thing to do at this point.
Okay.
Oh, I put it all there.
Board, Mary, are there
here.
any
There's-
questions or concerns on this?
No, I don't have any issue with the renewal.
Okay. And questions, so I guess we could ask for a
Well,
motion.
Ralph read the first one, so.
Are we gonna vote on it
Yeah.
individually or together?
Yeah, do you, as far as for number 4, mental health and recovery services, is requesting the board approve and execute resolution number 14-05, declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation and to provide for the necessary requirements of the county's community alcohol, drug addiction, and mental health service district at the request of the Geauga County Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services under the ORC 5705.221 and .25. So if you wanted to just explain that, and then we'll just, if there's any questions.
Yeah, basically, this is just the legal language that goes, that's from the Ohio Revised Code that allows the board to access property taxes. We have a 7/10 of a mill that's been in place since 1989. This is the one that's asking for renewal of that levy, and, you know, fortunately, the Geauga County's been supportive every time this levy's been back on the ballot, so.
Okay.
Well, I would make that motion for those two then, for 3 and 4.
I'll second 3 and 4.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye. Motion approved.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Deb, you want to give me a whistle? That's right, you don't come. Good. Thanks for the help.
Number 6, Sheriff McClellan. Sheriff, how you doing? Oh, no problem. Perfect.
Oh, here comes. Uh-oh, she's staying by you.
So do you want to do that?
If she stays, from the strips by you.
All right.
We'll bring 3 things before the commissioners today. The first is requesting that the board authorize the president to execute the sub-grant we refer to as Stop Violence Against Women Act of Iowa. This is a grant that pays a deputy's salary. In this case, it's Robin Taylor is assigned to this grant, and she conducts specialized investigations into the crimes against women. Typically would be at domestic violence. It can also include sex offenses, things of this nature. She has specialized training, and frankly, it helps being a female, being able to relate to the victims better. We're requesting, the total grant is the amount of $59,916. $44,997.10 would come from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services, with a local match $13,144.39 from the Geauga County General Fund, $1,854.64 from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund. The grant extends for the period January 1, 2014, December 31st, 2014.
All right. You want to read number 6?
The Sheriff's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services sub-grant award agreement for the Geauga County Stop Violence Against Women Act, VAWA number 2013-WF-VA2-8214 in the amount of $59,996.13. $44,997.10 from Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services, with a local match of $14,999.03, $13,144.39 from the Geauga County General Fund, and $1,854.64 from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund, for the period of January 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2014.
Make that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye. Motion approved.
Second item
What's
that
5?
bring before is a grant. This is from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services. This is a technology grant. We have been working closely with Glenn Burnett from the Maintenance Department on our need to upgrade and replace some of the worn out components of our jail surveillance system. The cameras, video recordings, and things of that nature. This grant will help us do that. The grant is, numbers here, total amount is $15,969.70, with $11,977.43 coming from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services, and a local match from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund of $3,992.47, no general fund.
Okay. So if we could read number 7.
Sheriff's Office is requesting the board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services sub-grant award agreement JAG grant number 2013-JG-A02-6468 for technology improvement for the period January 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2014, in the amount of $15,969.90. $11,977.43 will come from the Office of Criminal Justice Services, and the match of $3,992.47 will come from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
I motion approved.
You heard in the last two items I brought forward mention of something called the Law Enforcement Trust Fund, which is the third item for we have to file a report of how we expend money. Law Enforcement Trust money is monies, assets that are seized as a result of criminal action. When the federal one predominantly comes, we work on a federal task force where we pursue drug dealers, movement of narcotics. So a person who buys drugs, that money is seizable and is returned to the law enforcement agencies that participate in the investigation. And there are a number of restrictions that can be, how that money can subsequently be spent. The report, which I believe you should have, but we received $63,778.51 last year as a result of seizures of that nature. And it's a breakdown of how we spent it. We actually spent a total of $116,155.42. Part of that money was from the previous year's balance, obviously. The breakdown, it can be used for buy money, as we refer to it. So when we build narcotic cases against an individual and we want to make multiple buys, sometimes, yes, that money walks. We will buy the narcotics, seize them, but we've used the buy money. We use that money to supplement our training account, to provide training for employees at the Sheriff's Office, again, unauthorized expenditure. We've also used that money to upgrade, replace communications, radios, and computer equipment as well. And we've used it for weapons, protective gear, bulletproof vests, weapons, and electronic surveillance equipment. As you can see, we also, of course, it's for the next year, but we've also used it, when appropriate, as a grant match to help us secure it.
All right, so if we can read number 5, and this is gonna be, Blake's gonna sign this.
I think it did sign.
Yeah, that's, so it's the first one I did.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Jumped out of order, my apologies.
Well, that's fine, that's fine.
The Sheriff's Office is requesting the Board approve and authorize the Vice President of the Board to execute the Equitable Sharing Agreement and Certification Affidavit 2013.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
And Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Bowen, or Gary.
Get special meet today.
All right, how you doing?
Good, how about yourself?
Good, good. Okay, what do we have here today? Service agreements?
Yes, items 8 through 12 are kind of our standard service agreements that we put together at the beginning of each year. More or less what this is the getting contractors on board to say they would be willing to work for us and put all the paperwork in place with regards to the insurance and the bonds and things like that. When we come forward at the end, and when we do have an issue that comes up that we would need them, we still go out and get 3 quotes from 3 or more of these contractors that we have on, I don't know, for lack of a better term, on retainer, I guess. So we're still abiding by the ORC of getting multiple quotes for projects. This just solves our problem of, once we get those quotes, deciding on who we want and having to take another month to get all the paperwork in place.
I see.
So this is just for 8 through 12, that's what those are, with one with Iron Arrow Contracting, one with Court Landscaping, one with Geauga Door and Sales, one with Toma Technologies, and one with Workman Industrial Services.
Okay. Any questions? You feel okay?
How about the airbag one?
That one, actually, we will be using that, that's a separate contract, that's for,
Okay.
that's why I was kind of keeping 8 through
Go for
12
it again.
together as
Okay.
as their standard, and then we'll talk, if we want to talk about 13 now, we can.
So, yep, so we'll read 8 to 12 and then we'll cover the last two.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Romano Ionera Contracting Incorporated to perform excavating services as needed at various locations within the county for year 2014 in the amount of $20,000. The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Vine Court Landscaping and Gas Line Services Incorporated to perform excavating and landscaping services as needed at various locations within the county for year 2014 in the amount of $5,000. Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Geauga Door Sales and Services Incorporated to perform door repair services as needed at various locations within the county for year 2014 in the amount of $2,000. The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Thelma Technologies Incorporated to perform repairs and calibrations to flow meters and electronic equipment as needed for year 2014 in the amount of $2,000. And the Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Workman Industrial Services Incorporated to perform emergency rehabilitation and improvements as needed at various county wastewater treatment plants for year 2014 in the amount of $20,000.
Okay, a motion for those?
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Sweetie?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye. Motions are all approved.
No, 13 is actually, it's with Airvac, who is the manufacturer of our 3 vacuum systems, soon to be 4 with Thompson. We currently have Parkman, Bellwood, which is in South Russell, and Brighton Trails, which is in Bainbridge off of Chagrin Road. What we have is to have them come out for 5 days on site at all 3, total 5 days for all 3 sites. And they're gonna be doing some regular maintenance, updates, whatever, tune-ups on the systems, as well as providing training for our guys on searching out, when we have a leak in the system, how to better search and find those, or to, and to how to, maintain and upgrade our system. With the turnover we've had, we've got some guys who haven't had any experience on the vacuum system, so we're gonna get this as a kind of a training process for them. We have in the past sent some of our guys to the Airvacs home offices to get training. They actually have a full-scale system set up at their offices that they can do visual above ground, so that everybody can see what's going on in the ground when they're trained there. But this is giving them an opportunity to come out and do some maintenance and tune up on the system, as well as giving more of our guys, rather than sending them one at a time to Airvac, they'll be able to go out
Yeah.
and be with them.
Makes sense, absolutely.
When you send them to the site, to Airvac, where is that located?
That is actually in Indiana, and it's some small little town in
Well,
in Indiana.
it's
so
at a fair expense then to
Correct.
send them to
Yes,
that
exactly.
location.
It's probably
It's
this
not like
amount of
going
money,
to-
it's probably this amount of money or more for their 5-day course at their plant.
Right, it's
So
not like they're
for
going to
one- for one
Warrensville or
person.
someplace,
Yeah.
they're going
Yeah.
out of town, there's travel and,
Just makes a lot of sense. Okay. 13, if we could read that then?
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Airvac Incorporated to perform a 5-day on-site system tune-up and evaluation at Parkman, Bellwood, and Brighton Trails for year 2014 in the amount of $4,950.
I'll make that motion.
second?
Commissioner Sweetie?
Yes.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
I motion approved. Jerry, real quick, I was talking to Dave probably a couple months back about this. What is the possibility, and I know that this takes a lot of time with those contracts. Have you guys ever thought about maybe doing a 2-year, or what's the pros and cons on that?
Well, most of these are just, we're just trying to get, again, we still go out and get the 3-year, or
Okay.
the 3 quotes. So we're not, we've, in overall, when we do our contracts, of all these contracts in a year, we use somewhere between 50 and 60% of that during the year.
Okay.
So it's, once you start getting the quotes and that, we're still going out and getting quotes.
Okay.
Most of this paperwork, I mean, it's the same contractors from year to year.
Yeah.
I guess we could look at the 2-year deals on that. And
Right, and
get it
we just were
set up.
looking at just the amount of time that it would take, your staff and, and I don't know, does the prosecutor have to review these also?
Yes.
So
I mean, Glenn does that, some of his contracts,
Yeah.
like for Nolan, he'll do it to a plow.
2 or 3 years that, I mean, and it seems like a lot of these companies you've had from what you're saying, for a lot of years, and, I'm just saying, I mean, I would personally support just to relieve some of the duplication year after year, if it would be something that,
Right.
and obviously we would probably have to increase these limits, or is that, or
Yeah,
have
I'll-
it stated
yeah.
that it would be, so much
Up
per
to,
year.
not to exceed.
Not to exceed,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that
like
would
the
just,
duplicate of, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
just-
I mean, we can look into that and see if it's, I'll talk with the prosecutor's office too and see whether it is, because the way we do it is, I don't know that it's the same as the way Glenn does it. He actually
Probably
goes
not
out and
exactly
gets his
the same.
bids.
Yeah.
And then gets them on the hook for 2 years.
Okay.
Whereas we're just putting in, we have to put in the dollar amount in there just to get that money set aside.
So you're tying this to an actual
And then-
encumbrance.
Yeah, and then, so that's going to that, but we're still going out, like I said, when we have an issue, we're going out and getting the 3 bids from, for this case, like if we had to do an excavation just on these 2, we would have Workman Industrial and Iron Arrow, and then the 3rd one that we would have come out and give us quotes on how much is it gonna cost us to have this 300 feet of sewer line excavated, get those quotes, and then the lowest quote's the one we
I
would
see.
give the job to, so I think we can look at that, and I know our people would probably be happy to have these as a 2-year
Right.
service agreement.
right, I mean, it's
because,
like
again, not
taxes,
having
you
to
just
go through
finish,
that.
you just finish your taxes, and all of a sudden you're doing the new ones for the following year,
Boy,
so.
amen.
It just,
Right.
Yeah, I would talk with
Not
prosecutor's
today.
office, I guess we've never thought about, because it's different than going out and getting a bid and saying, okay, now you're gonna be our guy for the next 2 years
And-
at this rate.
And as far as for us on our budget, would it be possible for us to basically allocate like one line item to cover all of those, so that he, cause I can see his concern is you need to allocate 20 for this, 10 for this, 5 for this, to be able to just have a, repeating.
Well, if
item.
you could do a blanket PO
Right.
that would cover various vendors for services that are very, like if you got, you're gonna be looking at 4 people to do this kind of a service, you got a blanket, you got a contract with them that agrees on a price if you use them,
Right.
and then, but you pay it out of that blanket, I would think you could do that.
Yeah.
We could also, I think that at that point too, we might even be able to get even more aggressive pricing, or something that's fair, because they know for 3 years they're locked, that contractor would be locked in, so they're not just every year having to renegotiate. I'm just looking at it for just trying to, make it more
More efficient.
efficient
Yeah.
for
But
everybody.
you do have
Yeah.
carryover money though, so I don't see that that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
No, I don't
when we
think that
have
should be.
this money set aside, or not only set aside, but just.
Sometimes
in
you
that,
never
we
use
don't-
it.
We don't use most,
Yeah,
we,
so-
like
Yeah.
I said, 50 to 60%, depending upon,
Like in here.
it's just really, some of this stuff our guys can do, it's just a matter
Just
of
have
how
the
quick it needs
security,
to be
yeah.
done and getting it done, and what else they're working on, so.
All right.
The only question I would have is that, if you're using these people under these contracts, and then we become dissatisfied with someone's service or work, we need to have some kind of a
Exit clause.
exit clause, safeguard that if they don't, now you have that to a certain degree with the bid process. But you're probably gonna, if an inferior, if a contractor's doing inferior work and he's the low bid, then you got, you may have some issues breaking that or diverting that. So you'd want to make sure that the prosecutor's office goes over that pretty carefully, I would think.
Right, and right now, the way we do it, we get the choice of whether we call them back or not. You know, there's no obligation, we have these service agreements, but there's no obligation for us to ever use any one of them during the year.
I see.
And we have ones where we had the service contract at the beginning of the year for, well, actually, one of them is Vine Court, like last year. We had a $5,000 service contract with them, but we never needed landscaping work done, so we never used them at all. So that money was never used.
I mean, I can understand Ralph's
And I-
point where it would be streamline this whole thing and all the paperwork involved and the cost and expense of doing all that. And maybe even get them to give us a little better deal, because we're promising them that they'll be there for a couple of years. Just if the, you know, some of these companies are not, you know, I don't want to say General Motors or IBM, but you know, because they're kind of shaky, some of those. I just
Right, if we did
want to
go
make
the
sure
route-
that we have somebody, you know, an out if they do inferior
Right,
work.
if we did go the route of bidding out the, you know, that work for 2 or 3 years and getting that one contractor, we would definitely make sure we had something in that agreement that would give us the option of being able to pull out based on
Yep.
their inferior work.
That would be my only reservation on that.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Take a look at that, definitely.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Gary. Bye-bye now. Okay,
We did vote on it, didn't we?
yep.
Yeah, I thought I checked it off.
Number
I've been writing.
14 is, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute Resolution number 14-018, recognizing America Saves Week from February 24th, 2014 through March 1st of 2014. And,
I can explain that.
yep,
Please,
That's,
5 days.
yeah, the America Saves program is something that's been conducted the last few years. United Way's involved, and our OSU extension, Terry Worthington is one of their educators. She is their family consumer science educator. And the whole idea here is to help those people, especially starting out, that may not understand basic consumer finance and may not understand how important it is to try and build up a cushion of savings, you know, rainy day fund and whatnot. And you know, the rationale for OSU Extension, United Way being involved in this is if we teach our residents to be better, you know, financially or more financially literate in their households, it'll strengthen our local economy because they won't be underwater with debt and you know, going to the payday lenders and things like that. They'll be able to enjoy more of their money, spend more of their money, not be spending it on high interest rates. So this week is just designed to kind of highlight that idea, and they were just looking for you guys to endorse this program by this resolution.
I have no problem.
I'll
with
make
that.
a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Sweet?
Aye.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
aye. Resolution is approved. Okay, let me see if I, one more thing I have to sign. Okay, for the meetings here, we have cancellation for the NOCOG, formerly the GAP, which is at 10 o'clock in the Board of Health meeting room in building number 8. I guess they closed it due to there's some foul weather that's supposed to be coming. There will be no session Thursday with the new meeting schedule. On February 11th, the commissioners will hold a regular session during which will hold 2 public hearings. The first at 10:20 to review the plans and specifications for the asphalt resurfacing of Bainbridge Road in Bainbridge and Auburn Townships, and the second at 10:25 to review the plans and specifications for the asphalt resurfacing of Pettibone and Bainbridge Township. And we had read the motion, I believe it was last week, for the start of that. And then the Planning Commission meeting at 7 p.m. in the Planning Commission meeting room. That's on the February the 11th, and that's at 7 p.m. across the street. The commissioners on the 13th will hold a regular session in the government team of leadership Geauga class 2014 luncheon, 11:30 at the Reserve House located at St. Mary's in Chardon. And that's going to be on February the 14th. I believe that everybody's participating in that. And other than that, if there's any questions, no questions, and I guess for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Chairman.
So that's that.
We're gonna have a
And
terrible
even,
storm,
even,
everybody stay home, don't go anywhere.
Okay. I'll be back.
Maybe.
Tuesday.